It is time for a deck collection update video. I'm Cassandra, I'm a Riffle in Time, and I'm so glad you're here. Today we are doing a long overdue video, a massive task, which is going through the decks that have arrived in my collection since the last deck collection video. If you haven't checked those out, there are several previous to this, but these are the decks that are new to the collection and new in the shop. If you don't know, a Riffle in Time is a tarot deck shop. Primarily, I specialize in indie tarot and oracle decks, but I have a lot of fun new mass markets here too, and I'm just really excited to get into this with you. First up, we're gonna do the deck that has lived on my table since it got in. This is this is actually a new deck from Chingay. I have several decks. I have actually a restock of No Filter Oracle and Quite Mystic Oracle in the shop in case you have been waiting on that to come back. I also have here this fun little deck. This is the Extraordinary Incantations Tarot and Oracle. I have been just in love. It's so sweet. I can't explain the how supportive and sweet it is, but I've really needed the extra love lately, and this deck has just been everything I needed. It's not all just happy, but let me see if I can find a good example. Okay, the Tower. I admit defeat. I know that's still, I mean, that's not a great message, but it feels, the Three of Swords, I really like it. I get over it, I get over myself. Or actually, I get over myself, I get over it. This card, I actually pulled it, and I felt a very different feeling than I do when I normally pull the Three of Swords, and it just felt like a shift in perspective. I really have been loving this deck. Next up, we have the Lucid Dreams Beginner Tarot deck. This was a deck I was super excited to get in the shop because I've been looking for a good beginner deck, a deck made with a beginner in mind, because like I've said before, I think most decks are very beginner friendly. I have a full walkthrough of this one on the channel, but this is just, it's really nice to have something that was so supportive of a beginner. We have keywords on the top and bottom, and it really is a beautiful deck. I think it's just it's a little bit of an investment, but I think if you're looking for extra support in a deck, I think that is a beautiful place to start. The Magick Morsels Oracle deck. This one, I was so excited when I saw this deck because I'm a foodie. I love food. I can't help it. I love the chicken nugget card. Okay, so this card was actually the last card I pulled from the deck, and I used the deck to figure out what I wanted to eat for dinner because I couldn't figure out what to eat. But this has been a fun little addition to the collection, and I think anything food is just really fun. I am going to be getting in the vegan version soon, so keep your eye out for that if you're looking. But it is just I think really unique deck, and if you have not noticed, unique is kind of my favorite. I really like finding decks that are just really different. This is the second edition of the Radiant Crystal cards. I've been out of stock of the Radiant Crystal cards since the first edition went out, and was really excited to get the second in. If you don't know, the Radiant Crystal cards, let's get to the cards, have the crystal on the front, and then so much information on the back. And actually, these first cards I sat down are really cool information cards. We have a welcome card, we have the chakras here, we have the crystal grid card. This kind of explains what's going to be on the cards themselves, and then you have what crystals are in the deck. And then this is really how I've been choosing my bracelets or my necklaces, and what tumbles in my pocket kind of vibe. So like what crystal energy support do I need for the day? And it's been a real delight to have it back. So I have a few copies of this left. I've been really excited. And if you follow me like elsewhere, you've seen this pop up a few times. I really have been excited to be back into pulling. Next up, we have the Green Glyph collection. There is, again, another full video on the channel going through these, so I'll just give you a little peek. But I really love the cohesiveness of this collection. And then I'm going to try to show you the dice. There's like heavy dice that come with this. I love this collection so much. I don't think I've been so excited about a collection before of anything. I was like over the moon when this came out. I am absolutely brand new to runes, but I'm really excited to have like a set for it. I'm going to start working with that soon because I've been having so much fun pulling cards. Like even with no knowledge of runes, I've been pulling them like all 3 decks together, and it has been working very well for me. So I think it is a really great deck. This is the Oracle. I love Oracle deck. Like this card is so beautiful. But it's just these decks really work so well together too. It's just been so much fun. This is something I've been working a lot with by myself. I have shared a couple times, I think, but I have really been working with these a lot when I'm doing like my readings for myself. Like not just like a little card a day, but if I'm actually like diving in and doing like a spread, especially like if I'm doing an intentional spread. This one actually, oh, do I have, yes. I was just taking pictures of like the majors of a few tarot decks. So this is an order for just the majors, but that's so delightful. I am working on a blog post, so I had to take some pictures. Oh, it's a beautiful deck. Very, very, very beautiful. Also, I have up, I don't know if I've mentioned yet, other than in the Riffle Shuffle tutorial video, but I have made a riffability scale for all of the decks in the shop. So if you go to the shop, you can see the rating on how riffable I think every deck in the shop is. So that was really fun to do. Here's the Oracle of Eden. I love this deck. This is like the main event kind of deck. I've never had a deck feel so luxurious. It's like opening the doors and like pulling it all out is just, I mean, look at those edges. They're like the most beautiful burgundy. The inside is like that velvet feel. And again, it comes in its own bag. Like, hello? Hello? It's just, I was out of stock. I just got it back in stock. So I was out of stock for a while. I'm so happy to have this back. This is one of those, like, I love a photography deck anyways. And then I've said before, I actually think I also have a walkthrough of this on the channel, but I've said before how like intentional this deck feels and how just, everything it is. I really like finding Oracle decks that have not just the like average keywords and like average cards. So I like to find ones that do a little bit different of a thing. And so like when I saw this deck, it was like an immediate yes. I have not found another Oracle deck that is a photography deck. I have a couple photography decks that are tarot decks, but it was like really exciting to have one because I think that would probably be my favorite type of deck, is a good photography deck. And dreams of one day having my own photography deck. Next up, we have the Pulp Tarot. This deck was really fun because as soon as I saw it, I could think of about 5 people I know that would like really love this kind of art style. This is that pulp magazine, like movie theater poster vibes. I'm not sure if it was like 40s, 50s, 60s. Somebody can fact check me on that one. But it's really, really cool. I really like also the Hermit. So that Moon card, that first card, one of my favorites, but I also, this is from the riffling of all the decks. These are still upside down. I tried to fix most of the decks that I could before I did this, and I obviously got sidetracked. But you can kind of feel the energy of that one. I also, I don't know why, but the Zombie Tarot kind of reminds me of the same kind of like, not that it's the same vibe exactly, but it is that more like vintagey kind of feel. This is going to be a little like gory, so if you don't like that kind of stuff, just like skip ahead a few seconds. I'm just gonna give you a peek. But if you don't like the zombie thing, definitely don't don't watch this. But I really love the box for this. I don't know if you had like peeked at that ammo kind of like box. I thought it was really cool. But this, it felt like so right to have something like this during Halloween time. And again, I don't know, the Pulp Tarot and this both felt like they were kind of like they wanted to come here together. But yeah, it is definitely like that kind of creepy, weird vibe, but I wanted to have that option. Then we're going to keep trucking. We're going to get through these. We're doing great on time. This is the Herbal Astrology Oracle. Now, if you know me, I know very little about astrology and very little about herbs. I love to know things. I love to learn things. So when I found this deck, I think I saw somebody like sharing this deck on their feed, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's going to have like a nice little guidebook with it, and I'm going to like learn some information. I think it's always like a beautiful thing to like be learning forever. I never am going to stop looking to learn things and grow like my knowledge in myself. So this was just like, also it's very beautiful. And I know that a lot of people probably know more than I do and would really enjoy something like this. I also have the Herb Crafter Tarot back in stock, which I love to have. It is actually very quickly coming out of stock because it is a favorite. This is actually not in its full box. I did a walkthrough of this, and I was really talking about how I was going to let it live in just the inside box on my shelf, and that is what I've done. So we have the This Might Hurt Tarot deck. This is the Liminal 11 Mass Market Edition. I used to have the Indie edition in the shop, and when I saw this deck was going mass market, I had to continue having it. So I was really excited to see it continue. And it is just as beautiful as it always has been. I do love that it seems like the contrast and clarity, like there's a little difference in the I have on the channel a comparison video between the two. So check that out if you want to know more. Next up, let's do the Folklore Tarot. This is another like pretty new deck that has come out mass market. I saw this over, it's on Lisa's channel, maybe. I saw this and I thought it was so cool that it is, I forget the word for it, but the printing is like you can feel the, let me see if I can kind of like shine. I'm not going to be able to do a good job, but on the page on the shop, I found a video from the creator, I believe it was, who shows like is able to get that kind of raised imagery on there and like a little kind of clip. But it was really cool. The backs are that way too, and it seemed really fun. I really love, I don't know what it is about like a black deck with like black edges, Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. So it was kind of like my taste to have like the black on black. Next up, I saw this on Waves of Your Soul's channel. I think one of the underrated like mass market decks videos. and I was so excited. I had actually never seen this deck before, so underrated it is. And it has that kind of like Tim Burton art style, and I think it's so cool. Again, super unique. Strange noise outside, but super unique, and I just really, really loved it. It definitely has read really well for me too. It is different. I will say this is not doesn't give me like normal like RWS vibes at all. So it is a little different, but I have found it to be like quirky and like its own, and I really love that. I am not somebody who is like really hung up on a system, or I like to read pretty intuitively, and if I cannot, like the Folklore Tarot doesn't give me a lot to go on, so like I'll read the guidebook, and then what I do is I kind of expand on words that I find. So this is the Tarot of the Great Outdoors. This is one of the decks I was most excited about when I saw it on, I think it was Lisa's Hot Takes video. It is, okay, I want to warn, the cardstock is very thin on this one, but it's like a $22 deck, and it's literally one of just the most vibrantly beautiful, like especially if you're looking for like a nature deck. I mean, it's so beautiful. It has like the majors are all like national parks, and I just love it so much. I have not had a single issue. If you look again in like the riffability video or like on the website, like I do warn that maybe like it could take damage a little easier because it is so thin. But I was able to riffle it. I just have to be a little mindful of how bendable it is. But for like $20, I will buy I'll buy it. And if it shows where, it shows where, I don't care about that. But I just was really into this. Like I saw, I think it was like the Zion card, and I was like, this is mine. This is mine. And it's still like it has like a matte feel to it. It's got like a top box for like $20. Like usually like this is kind of your vibe. And like I really do think maybe again they went a little thin on the cardstock, but I still really like the deck itself. Fifth Spirit Tarot. I have the original like indie deck, and again when it went mass market, so did I. One of the reasons I offer mass markets now are because so many of like the indie creators like I love and support were able to get their decks picked up, and like I've had to follow them through with it. I really love a really good inclusive deck, and this is just one of them. I think this is like on everybody's list of like inclusive decks. So it was a no-brainer. The no-brainer for me to have it. And I don't know what it is about the minors in this deck, but I really love the minors. It's so funny because like I don't normally like a Pippish deck, but it feels like Pippish plus a lot of the times for me. So I enjoy this deck a lot, and I think that it's always wonderful when it stays pretty like consistent. Like it's like the same deck, just like different quality, but I mean, it's not like a bunch of replaced. Next up, another deck I was really like excited. I have followed along on it getting picked up by Rockpool. I followed Jess over on I think it was Instagram for a long time, wanting this deck. It was out of print, and I wanted it. It was an indie deck out of print, and I found out through them that it was getting picked up mass market. So I was excited. This is the only, I think, Marseille tarot deck I have, and it is currently out of stock in the shop. Don't be mad at me. I'm going to restock it though, so I had to include it in this video because I love how quirky it is. It's so its own thing, and I love that about it. And it's also such a cute little size. The Fountain Tarot. This is like one of the decks that I think one of the very first decks I was introduced to when I was starting out, like getting a reading. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, Radana used this deck the first time I got a reading. And it was just, I think that alone has left like a good impression on me, and I really like the movement in this deck. There's a lot of movement. It's a lot of like lighter colors. This is one of those decks that like I just think is really, I think some of these, again, the minors. I really like the minors in this deck. Okay. We have 3 decks left, guys. No. Oh, I lied. I have 3 minis there too. So we have 6 decks total, but 3 of them are like in a 10 minis. I almost forgot about them. Okay, so we have the Mind's Eye Tarot here. I have Olivia Rose's Heart Eye Oracle. So that is an indie deck. And when I found out that she was doing a tarot deck that was going to be being published, I think it was US Games. Let me fact check myself there. I have like a random amount of information in my head. Yes. And sometimes I get it mixed up, but most of the time I get it right. Okay. So I just love Olivia Rose as an artist, and I had to get the tarot deck. I mean, come on. It's beautiful. Let's focus on the sun card for a second. Hello. I love like the fairy kind of mermaidy creatures that live. I think most of these are like intended to be like fairies, but I know that she also has a mermaid oracle, I'm pretty sure. And I mean, come on, this is just gorgeous. But I do have a few copies of the Heart's Eye Oracle left as well. But I think that'll be the last time I get to restock it. She is running dangerously low, and I don't know if there's a reprint coming. We have next up the Waite Numen. I saw this on somebody's, I can't remember if it was just their only 10 decks or if this was the like 10 mass market decks. But this is another Liminal 11. And it gave me like Gerudo Desert vibes like a few times. And I was like, okay, I'm sold by the bidder here. I think that it does have this kind of like anime gamey vibes to me, and I do enjoy that. So I was excited to get a hold of it. I really like the colors of this deck as well, especially like give me some pentacles, like the greens. I'm very, very into that. Okay, so last of the full-size decks that I'm going to be looking at next is the Tarot of the Abyss. I wanted to have, I don't have actually a ton of like black and white / like monochromatic and like stuff like that. I'm a pretty colorful gal. And this is a nice option to have. This is a nice like refresh. This is like, it reminds me of like pen and paper like drawings. I really love really loved it. It felt like a story. Again, I just like sometimes like tarot oracle decks can feel like individual art pieces in some decks, and then there's some decks that bring me back to like a story-esque vibe, and like this just kind of felt like in a lot of ways like I was reading a book that had like drawings in it. I don't know if you've ever like read a book that like has like cool little drawings, like maps and stuff in it, like character. I really enjoy that. But I loved having this. I like having an option like this when I'm feeling like really overstimulated. I like to have like one of the ones I go to like a lot when I'm feeling is like I have my visions. It's like a good black and white. Also, Inkwitch is another deck that is like, it's not completely black and white, but it's really muted tones. I love that. I'm gonna grab the 10s. I also got some little mass market 10s in. This is the Morgan Greer. We have the Halloween. We have the Universal Waite. This is the first time I've owned an actual like RWS deck in my life. So It was fun. I looked at a bunch of different options because there's like the Centennial, the Radiant, like there's so many options. And this felt like bright, like the Radiant, but not as, this is a little softer. So still really vibrant colors, but not as maybe harsh. This feels a little softened, maybe. I'm not, hopefully that makes sense. I know I'm not like super great with like terminology on things like that, but Halloween Tarot I had to have. And I loved it in a 10 because I felt like I want to go take this to spooky places. I want to go take this outside in the fall. So it just felt perfect to have. Oh, actually, hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can find. Here. What to me? There it is. I don't know why I love this one so much, but it's like one of my favorite cards in the deck. But yeah, I really, really enjoy. It's like a fun Halloween vibe. It's not like trying to be too serious, but also not, to me at least, it's not like too gimmicky, kitschy. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but you know, I hope you know what I'm saying. This still feels like fun, but not like, I don't know. The Morgan Greer, the first time I saw this deck in general, I think was on like Lumeria Stars page, and I really liked, again, the vibrancy. The colors are very, very bright. This felt a little different, but also still giving me the vibes of like the vintagey style of like the Centennial version of like the RWS. So like I felt like I had to pick between the two because I actually did get a copy of both, and this one I just really enjoyed like how bright it was, very colorful, and it gives me like a certain era vibes. I'm not sure which, but it gives that for me. I'm so impressed with ourselves right now because we got through them. There are probably some decks that I've left out in that in the shop new to my collection place. Honestly, I'm probably missing a couple, but next up I'm planning on doing decks that are not in the shop that are new to my collection, and then I think I'm going to do a third video. It's going to have a little spin on it, like decks that are new to my collection but are leaving, like they're already in the purgatory box. So that'll be fun too. So stay tuned. I have more for you. If you want to like learn more about the riffability, I have that video on here. I have the blog post, and like each deck has like it on the shop, so it'll give you like a 1 to 5 scale. There's always new decks, so I do have a newsletter I'm going to start doing like every month. It'll have like my favorite spread of the month, a card of the month that I pull for us, the new in stock or back in stocks, and just kind of some like fun little things. I might, if there's like a special like moon or like the fall equinox is coming up, I might like put a little something there. I don't know. Who knows? It's just like a place that I wanted to share like new offerings, but also like community wise, like pull a card for like the people who are like giving me permission to like pull in their energy, and it's like a cool place where you can like say hi, I like accept you being in my energy, so consent for me. uh I love you. I'll see you again soon.